You said, according to the article, I'm quoting, Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms so that Gilbert might reconsider his political views. Did you say that?
Bottom line is that the language is unacceptable.
What you just saw is the Democrat nominee for Attorney General of the state of Virginia, Jay Jones. And he wants his political opponent's children to die in their mother's arms. Let's talk about it. Now, here's a quick message from the sponsor of this video, Crypto.com. Let's be clear, cryptocurrency isn't coming, it's already here. And this next move made it official. Now, Trump Media has just signed a massive $6.4 billion deal with Yorkville Acquisition Group and Crypto.com. Yeah, that Crypto.com. The platform is trusted by millions of users worldwide. Now, here's the big play. They're teaming up to scoop up billions of CRO. That's the token powering Crypto.com's entire ecosystem. Fast transactions, low fees, and even real-world perks like cash back when you spend. So, the goal, build America's first CRO treasury called the Trump Media Group CRO strategy. And when all is said and done, this new company becomes the largest publicly traded CRO holder in the world. Head to Crypto.com today to make crypto great again. Now, this segment is sponsored by Crypto.com. Nothing here is financial advice. Always do your own research before investing. Now, back to the madness. So, who is Jay Jones? Well, here's my friend Eric Humley. Now, we both do reactions on the channel Nate and Eric, link below if you want to check out some of our stuff. But Eric's going to let you know this guy's background.
Former member of the Virginia House of Delegates representing a district from 2018 to 2022. He was the Assistant Attorney General for DC. He ran for Attorney General, but he lost in the primary in 2021. He's currently a trial lawyer down the road in Norfolk, maybe a little too close for me. And he is now the nominee for the Democratic Party for Attorney General in the state of Virginia. Here he is in a campaign ad with our former governor, Ralph Northam.
You know, as governor, Trump and I, we went to battle.
Yeah, you did.
There's no one I trust more to stand up to Trump and Musk than you, Jay. You've been an assistant attorney general and protected abortion rights. You even sued Glenn Youngkin when he attacked voting rights.
Look, I'll never stop fighting for Virginia families to protect our rights and our workers from Trump's agenda.
You've got my vote.
Jay Jones, Democrat for Attorney General.
Before we get into that, this is not the first time he's tangled with the law.
Breaking tonight, a candidate running for state office to enforce Virginia's laws was once himself in trouble with the law. Democratic Attorney General candidate Jay Jones is responding tonight to a reported previous conviction of reckless driving. The Richmond Times-Dispatch reports it happened back in January 2022. Jones was clocked by state police driving 116 miles per hour on Interstate 64 in New Kent County. Court records show he paid a $1,500 fine. I did reach out to Jones' campaign for a statement. He says, quote, "Several years ago, I made the mistake of speeding, for which I'm regretful. I accepted responsibility for my actions, paid the fine, and fulfilled my responsibility to the court."
Now, as you can see here from the New York Post, Jay Jones avoided jail time by doing $500 of community service at his own political action committee. In other words, his own campaign. He was able to use that to help pay off his debt to society by helping himself run for Attorney General. So why are we talking about the Attorney General candidate for Virginia? Well, it's because in this day and age, political violence is a problem here in the United States. Remember what just happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, in the political realm, the Democrats are saying the Republicans are committing violence, and they point to the shooting in Minnesota of the Speaker of the Minnesota House.
Erica Jo, Vance Belter is facing 6 federal charges in what prosecutors are calling an elaborately planned political assassination. They also say he had even more targets. The U.S. attorney says that Belter also went to 2 other politicians' home with the intent to kill them.
Vance Belter inflicted unimaginable harm to our community Saturday morning.
And Republicans are going to point to the shooting of Charlie Kirk.
Authorities in Utah are poring over what they call a mountain of evidence against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, the man authorities say fired that single fatal shot, killing Charlie Kirk. The district attorney saying they hope to file charges by tomorrow, but authorities say they're receiving little help from the suspect who turned himself in Thursday.
Now, there are many conspiracy theories about both these cases. In Minnesota, the guy is a clear Republican, but, people want to say he's a Democrat because they don't like facts. And in Charlie Kirk's case, they say the shooter was working for Israel, and Israel wanted Charlie Kirk dead. Again, people who just don't like facts. Now, the million-dollar question here is, are these Republicans and Democrats saying they're against violence outwardly, but really secretly hoping for some type of violent overthrow or some type of violent revolution? Well, this is where Jay Jones comes in. Here are the text messages that he sent to a Republican colleague about the Speaker of the Virginia House.
First, he wants to piss on Republicans' graves.
Jones texted Coiner, quote, "If those guys die before me," referring to Republican lawmakers, quote, "I'll go to their funerals to piss on their graves."
That isn't bad enough. He asked, hey, if Hitler and Pol Pot are around, I want to shoot this guy Gilbert instead.
Jones's messages then turned to Republican House Speaker Todd Gilbert. Jones said, quote, "Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head." Jones went on to say, spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time.
Oh, but wait, there's more. If his texts aren't enough, he calls this woman up to say that he wishes Gilbert's wife got to see her own child die in her own arms.
Hold on. This guy wants the guy's children to be shot and killed and to die in their mother's arms? Like that, like he could have said that.
After the text messages, Jones called Coiner and said, quote, he wished Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms so that Gilbert might reconsider his political views as they pertain to gun violence.
Okay, so obviously he said exactly what we thought he said. But at this point, like, how can you come back from it? What excuse could you have? It's like, I was high, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Like, what the hell do you think he could say to defend this? So here he gave a interview to local news who asked him about, these very serious questions. So here's what he said.
One of the text messages mentions 3 people: Todd Gilbert, the former Republican Speaker of the House; Hitler, a man who's responsible for killing 6 million Jews; and then a Cambodian dictator who's also responsible for the death of over 1 million people. You said in that scenario, quote, 2 bullets, Gilbert would get 2 bullets to the head. What were you thinking?
Tyler, thank you for having me and for giving me the opportunity to apologize. And I sincerely and from the bottom of my heart want to express my remorse and my regret for what happened and what I said. That language has no place in our discourse, and I am so remorseful for what happened. I actually reached out to Speaker Gilbert this afternoon to apologize to him and to Jennifer and to their children, because I know that they are angry and furious, and they are well within all of their bounds to feel that way, because what I said was unacceptable, and I accept responsibility for that. And I want them to know, and I want the people of Virginia to know, that I am so deeply, deeply embarrassed, and that I understand the gravity of what I said, and I am so apologetic for it from the bottom of my heart.
In this election, you're asking Virginians to vote for a man who compared his political opponents to mass murderers. Isn't that type of rhetoric disqualifying for someone who's seeking statewide office here in Virginia?
Well, the rhetoric has no place on our landscape, no place in our discourse, and again, for that, I am deeply, deeply sorry. I should have never done it. It's very embarrassing to me, and certainly I regret it.
Nate, does it sound like he's talking about somebody else?
It does. It does.
Let me make it simple. Nate, if you hit me at the grocery cart, what do you say?
I'm sorry.
Did you hear that?
I didn't. I didn't hear I'm sorry. I heard at the end he said, I apologize. But before that, there was a lot of equivocating. These are bad, these are horrible, there's no excuse, that type of thing.
It's distancing language, something you use in statement analysis. Essentially, he's saying this other guy did it. He's apologizing for the other guy, but he's not owning it. He's not saying, I did this, I am wrong. It's not rocket science.
The National Review's article, which came out today, says after those text messages were sent to Carrie Coiner, you picked up the phone and called her. You said, according to the article, I'm quoting, Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms so that Gilbert might reconsider his political views. Did you say that?
Bottom line is that the language is unacceptable. And again, I deeply, deeply, deeply wish that it hadn't happened. I have spent the entire day really regretting all of it, and I certainly wish that it hadn't happened. And I'm sick to my stomach when I read those words. And certainly they're objectionable, they're abhorrent, they have no place in Virginia, no place in this country's discourse. And so, again, I am so deeply, deeply sorry.
A lot of politics is about trust. I can think of nothing more horrific than a mother having to hold her dying child. How can Virginians trust a man who said something so horrific, so callously?
Well, again, I am so deeply, deeply sorry for what I said, and I wish that it hadn't happened, and I would take it back if I could. And again, I know that Todd and Jennifer and their family are feeling all sorts of warranted feelings toward me, and that's why, again, why I reached out. And I want them to understand that I wish that I hadn't done it. I wish I hadn't said it.
All right, I'm going to just tell you what my opinion is on this guy, Jay Jones. He's a disgrace. He should resign. He should drop out of the race. Full stop, no questions asked. And think about it, people. He's running for the top law enforcement job in the state of Virginia. That's what the Attorney General is. And would you trust someone who's committed a crime and talking about killing children and letting those children die in their mother's arms as your Attorney General? He needs to go. And I don't want to hear about that crap of both sides, this side does it, this. No. Forget about both sides. What about at this particular issue, at this particular time with this particular guy? He needs to go.
He's gotta go.
I pray that the good people of Virginia don't elect this lunatic to the highest level of law enforcement in the state of Virginia. That's a mistake. That's my opinion. Don't forget to check out Nate and Eric, because we are now going to be putting a lot more content on there. And also, don't forget to check out the sponsor of this video, crypto.com. My name is Nate the Lawyer. I'm out. Peace.